Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. What if I told you that behind the dazzling success of the Untamed, one of China's biggest dramas, lies a heartbreaking story that almost destroyed its star? Xiao Zhan, adored by millions for his unforgettable portrayal of Wei Wuxian, endured unimaginable pain and pressure that no one saw on screen. While fans were captivated by his charm and talent, Xiao Zhan was silently battling exhaustion, emotional breakdowns, and physical injuries that pushed him to the brink. This isn't just a tale of fame and fortune. It's a raw, unfiltered journey into the cost of stardom, the sacrifices, the hidden struggles, and the relentless fight to stay true to a character that haunted him long after the cameras stopped rolling. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will shatter everything you thought you knew about your favorite idol. This is the untold story of Xiao Zhan's real-life suffering behind the Untamed's glittering success. When we think of Xiao Zhan, we picture a dazzling star shining bright on screen, confident, charming, and effortlessly talented. But behind that radiant smile and magnetic presence lies a story far darker and more complex than most fans could ever imagine. After The Untamed exploded into a massive hit in 2019, catapulting Xiao Zhan into instant superstardom, the reality he faced was anything but glamorous. What if I told you that the very role that made him famous was also the one that almost broke him? Portraying Wei Wuxian was not just a job. It was an emotional and physical ordeal that took a serious toll on Xiao Zhan's mental health. Behind the scenes, he was struggling with severe stress, exhaustion, and emotional pain that he kept hidden from the public eye. The intense pressure of embodying such a complex character left him barely able to eat and emotionally drained. Imagine carrying the weight of a beloved character around the clock, struggling to separate yourself from the role even after filming ended. That was Xiao Zhan's harsh reality. Many fans don't realize the sacrifices and silent battles actors endure for their craft. Xiao Zhan's experience exposes a raw truth about the entertainment industry. Fame can be a double-edged sword, bringing both adoration and overwhelming pressure. His story is a wake-up call to all of us. Behind the glitz and glamour, the path to success is often paved with hidden struggles and sacrifices we rarely see. This dark side of stardom is not unique to Xiao Zhan, but his story stands out as a haunting reminder of the true cost of fame. Before the flashing cameras, the screaming fans, and the red carpet fame, Xiao Zhan lived a completely different life, one filled with color palettes, design drafts, and quiet ambition. Born with a creative soul, he originally pursued a degree in design at university, never once dreaming that he'd one day become a household name across China. In fact, acting wasn't even on his radar. During his university years, Xiao Zhan co-founded a design studio with friends. He was passionate about graphic work, logos, posters, branding. By all appearances, his life was set on a calm and steady path. But fate had other plans. When he stumbled into a singing competition in 2015 just because he loved to sing, everything changed. With zero formal training, he learned to dance, sing, and perform from scratch. His raw talent, boyish charm, and earnest attitude stole hearts, and he made his debut as a member of the boy group X9. But fame didn't come easy. The group struggled in a saturated market, and for months after debut, Xiao Zhan found himself with no stage, no spotlight, just 4 months at home wondering what came next. That's when acting came calling. Starting with small, forgettable roles, he climbed the ranks step by step. With each performance, he refined his craft, growing hungrier, more determined. Then came the role that would change everything, Wei Wuxian in The Untamed. From a design student with no industry ties to one of the most recognizable faces in Chinese entertainment, Xiao Zhan's journey is a modern-day fairy tale with a twist. It wasn't luck, but resilience, risk-taking, and relentless hard work that lit his way to stardom. For most actors, landing a breakout role is the ultimate dream. But for Xiao Zhan, embodying Wei Wuxian in the global sensation, The Untamed became both a blessing and a haunting curse. Behind the camera, the charming, free-spirited Wei Wuxian was not easy to bring to life. This wasn't just a role, it was a psychological transformation. Xiao Zhan didn't simply act. He became Wei Wuxian. So deeply, in fact, that he lost himself in the process. The filming took place in the scorching heat of the 2018 summer. Every day was a battle. 14 to 17 hours on set, rehearsing and performing over 900 scenes, with barely any time to rest. His physical health deteriorated. He lost drastic amounts of weight, barely ate, suffered from chronic fatigue, and even developed eye infections from night shoots under artificial rain. But none of that compared to the emotional toll. Xiao Zhan admitted in interviews that he struggled to mentally separate from Wei Wuxian. The emotional weight of the character, his pain, his loss, his inner torment, clung to him long after the cameras stopped rolling. He cried remembering specific scenes. He had to take a trip just to break free from the darkness Wei Wuxian left behind in his mind. There was one particular scene, codenamed 38-1, that shattered him. He forgot his lines for the first time ever, despite memorizing them endlessly. The pressure crushed him. He apologized again and again, tears in his eyes. It was more than exhaustion. It was mental collapse. This wasn't just acting. This was suffering for the art. If you thought filming a fantasy drama was glamorous, think again. Behind the breathtaking scenes of the Untamed, Xiao Zhan was fighting battles most fans never saw. The intense physical strain and emotional pressure he endured would break even the most seasoned actors. The summer of 2018 was brutal. Under the relentless sun of Hengdian, Xiao Zhan performed grueling wire scenes while drenched in sweat, his skin burning under layers of period costumes. In one punishing sequence, he had to act while suspended midair for hours, heatstroke creeping in, but he refused to stop. "Don't worry, I'm fine," he insisted to the crew, even as his body trembled. The night scenes were even worse. Filming in artificial rain for 7 nights straight left his eyes bloodshot and infected. There were no shortcuts, no stand-ins. Only Xiao Zhan, pushing through pain for every frame. Once, he split his lip during an action scene. Instead of resting, he got stitched up and returned to shoot that very night. Sleep? Almost non-existent. He rose at 5 a.m. and often rapped after midnight. Sometimes he was so fatigued he couldn't sit upright. He had to lie down between takes, supported by crew members. Still, not once did he complain. Emotionally, he was unraveling. Co-stars described how he looked thinner, quieter, like a man haunted. His energy was drained, but he refused to let the audience see his cracks. Xiao Zhan didn't just portray suffering, he lived it. For Xiao Zhan, acting wasn't just a job. It was an all-consuming war. One where the camera captured the magic but hid the pain. Behind every powerful performance lies a price, and for Xiao Zhan that price was steep. While millions praised his portrayal of Wei Wuxian in The Untamed, few knew the emotional devastation the role inflicted on him long after the cameras stopped rolling. This wasn't just acting. Xiao Zhan didn't play Wei Wuxian, he became him. So deeply entangled was he in the tragic arc of the character that even months after filming wrapped, he admitted he couldn't let go. "I had to give him back to the person he loved," Xiao Zhan once said in a trembling voice. "But I couldn't forget him." He would later reveal that the pain of Wei Wuxian's life story seeped into his own. There were days he couldn't stop crying. Memories of particularly harrowing scenes would trigger tears, even during interviews. Scene 38-1, known as the killer scene, broke him. With over 2 pages of dialogue, he memorized every line, until the cameras rolled. Then silence. His mind went blank. All he could remember was the orange highlighter ink on his script. He apologized repeatedly, shattered by the weight of self-doubt. But it wasn't just mental fatigue. According to screenwriter Yang Xia, after filming wrapped, Xiao Zhan changed. The once bright, endlessly laughing young man had grown quiet, subdued. She saw the cost of the role in his eyes. What began as method acting turned into emotional immersion so intense it nearly consumed him. For fans, Wei Wuxian was unforgettable. But for Xiao Zhan, Wei Wuxian was unforgettable and unshakable, both his masterpiece and his burden. Xiao Zhan's meteoric rise to fame after The Untamed was nothing short of legendary. Over a single summer, He went from a struggling actor to a household name, with millions of fans across Asia hanging on to his every word, every movement, every breath. But just as quickly as fame embraced him, it turned on him like a dagger cloaked in silk. In early 2020, a seemingly innocuous piece of fan fiction changed everything. A fictional story portraying Xiao Zhan and his The Untamed co-star Wang Yibo in a romantic relationship triggered a firestorm. His fans, attempting to protect his image, reported the story as inappropriate. What followed was catastrophic. Entire platforms like Archive of Our Own were banned in China, and the public outrage was deafening. Suddenly, Xiao Zhan wasn't a beloved actor, he was a symbol of internet censorship. Millions turned against him overnight. Protesters boycotted brands he endorsed, from Estée Lauder to Cartier. Customer service lines crashed. Online campaigns demanded his removal from public life. It wasn't just criticism, it was cultural erasure. Despite having no direct involvement in the controversy, Xiao Zhan bore the full weight of the scandal. He vanished from the spotlight for nearly a year. No fan meetings.
No social media. No interviews.
Just silence. This wasn't just the dark side of fame. It was the abyss. The very platform that elevated him had morphed into a minefield. The fans who once screamed his name now doubted his every move. The industry that once chased him now hesitated. And yet, through the smoke of scandal, Xiao Zhan would eventually rise again, proving that even when fame becomes a weapon, some stars refuse to be extinguished. Just when the world thought Xiao Zhan had been defeated, he came back swinging. After nearly a year of silence, retreating from the public eye and weathering one of the most brutal public backlashes in Chinese entertainment history, Xiao Zhan returned, not quietly, but with thunder. His message, "I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere." What makes Xiao Zhan's comeback truly extraordinary isn't just the fact that he returned. It's how he returned. Stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever. Instead of shying away from the spotlight, he reclaimed it with poise and purpose. His performance in The Oath of Love reminded fans of his subtle charm and emotional depth, but it was his latest project, the highly anticipated Legend of Zang Hai, that turned heads across the nation. In Legend of Zang Hai, Xiao Zhan steps into an epic, emotionally charged role that showcases his evolution as an actor. Critics have praised his ability to convey layers of internal conflict, leadership, and raw human vulnerability, proof that his time away wasn't wasted, but used to refine his craft. Fans rallied. Brands returned. Even former critics began to change their tune. What once threatened to end his career has now become the fuel for a powerful second act. Xiao Zhan isn't just surviving. He's rewriting the rules of what a comeback looks like in modern Chinese entertainment. Because true stars aren't destroyed by the storm, they are forged in it. Despite the hardships, Xiao Zhan's spirit remained unshaken. He openly expressed his resolve. "If I leave the industry, it will be because I want to, not because I can't continue." His passion for acting and personal growth kept him pushing forward. Even with the challenges of wearing period drama costumes, dealing with early mornings, and hair extensions causing real hair loss, Xiao Zhan found humor and lightness. His dedication to Wei Wuxian's role earned him respect and admiration, proving that true talent often comes from enduring the toughest trials. Xiao Zhan's story behind The Untamed is a powerful reminder that fame and success often come with unseen sacrifices. His journey, from a design student to a beloved actor who poured his soul into a role, inspires millions. So next time you watch your favorite show or idol, remember the human behind the character, fighting battles both on and off screen. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Xiao Zhan's life and struggles during The Untamed, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more exclusive stories, and leave a comment below. What's your favorite Xiao Zhan moment? How do you think actors deal with such pressure? Let's talk.